And the question is, what can Alessandro Bartelloni, Director of Fuels Europe, add to this mix? Alessandro, welcome. Big hand to Alessandro, please.
Yeah. Thank you.
You've got your goodie bag with you. This is very important.
This is part
right?
of the choreography, so it's very important.
Ah, very good. Okay. Ti lo lascio. Vabbè.
Thank you. So you know probably you have heard the famous line of Bismarck, attributed to Bismarck. You don't really want to know how laws and sausages are made. Well, in our case, the manifesto, the one you have found in your goodie bag, is the sausage. Because its making was anything but linear. It was a tortuous quest. And to answer an existential question, what is the value of our industry today? What does it matter to Europe? It involved many inputs. First of all, from our board, then the member companies, national associations, from us in the Secretariat, with ideas flowing and sometimes converging, sometimes diverging, contradicting themselves. And my colleague Emanuela Sardellitti did a wonderful job in reining in the process, like a shepherd herding exuberant sheep. Well done, Emanuela. Emanuela, can you please stand? So, yes, it was quite a process, and that is precisely what gives the manifesto its strength. Because what you have just seen is and it's here is not polished abstraction. It is something much more powerful, the convergence of an entire industry into a shared vision. And that matters. And that was exactly our objectives. I wanted to highlight one aspect very clearly. The manifesto does not describe a sector of the past. It describes a strategic industrial asset Europe cannot afford to lose. An asset that underpins energy security, defense readiness, and industrial resilience across multiple critical sectors. You know, in our daily work in advocacy, there is a risk because we can spend so much time on the individual pieces, the files, the regulations, the details, negotiation, amendments, and we forget the bigger picture. We risk missing the forest for the trees, as they say. Well, the manifesto, as summarized in the video, does the opposite. It brings back the forest to what it's really at stake. So the manifesto is the forest in addition to the sausage. The value of this industry to Europe is direction and the role it can credibly play in the transition, in competitiveness and in energy security. And it makes one point very clear. There is no successful transition without a viable industrial base. Competitiveness is not separated from transition. It is its foundation. That is also why the manifesto insists on something very concrete. Transformation must build on what we already have. Converting existing assets or having a low carbon production is not just sufficient. It is the fastest, most secure and most credible path to scale renewable low carbon fuels and other refinery products, while avoiding stranded assets and preserving strategic autonomy. It is also honest about the condition for success. A credible transition cannot exist only in theory or in targets. It must work in practice. And that means it must be gradual, affordable, geopolitically realistic, and synchronized across technologies, regulation, and investments. And that, to me, is the strength of the manifesto. It does not argue for preserving the status quo. It sets out a strategic case for transformation that is industrially viable, economically credible, and grounded in reality. So yes, the making of this sausage was messy at times, but what it delivers, it's a common line of sight of what is at stake, of what is possible, and what Europe stands to lose if it gets it wrong. And that is the perspective we need today. Thank you.
Grazie Alessandro, grazie.